Explained by the Billy Meier contacts, mysteries, myths, legends, conspiracy theories, historical inaccuracies, and more. Compiled by David Chance, revised October 18, 2023.
Time. See also time travel. Contact Report 826.
I was talking to Michael about time, how that is an earthly invention after all. You Pleiaren do not know the concept of time, which is why Michael wonders how you handle everything in order to cope with everything you have to do. Unfortunately, however, it is very difficult for the earthling, who is time-dependent, to understand the whole of duration and how to cope with it without the concept of time, which is why I do not want to go into it here, in order to explain what is not understood after all. Time is relative and divided by human beings into exactly 60 seconds, 60 minutes, 1 hour and 24 hours for a day. Furthermore, 365 days are 1 year, while 7 days are 1 week, 1 month is 4.34524 weeks, and 1429 weeks are 1 year. These are human calculations, but time is nevertheless, in my opinion, deeply relative. In earlier times, burning candles were used to measure certain durations. Not time, but durations. These candles were precisely weighed and provided with markings carved on the side, which served to measure a certain duration that the candle needed to burn. So there was no time, only a certain duration that was needed during which, for example, something had to be done. If you like, you can say that this kind of permanent meter was a timekeeper. At that time, human beings had not yet invented time. The permanent knives served as timekeepers, just like nails, among other things, which were inserted into wax candles and fell down when they reached the point that was calculated for a certain duration, and made a noise when they fell down. So that shaped the duration in early history, which was then followed by the time, and that was at the end of the Middle Ages, about 600 years ago, when the idea of a mechanical alarm clock came about. As far as I know from Sfath, this actual alarm clock was invented in Italy by a Benedictine monk in a monastery not far from Milan. The monk, he was called Fratello Arminius, I remember, was very concerned about keeping to prayer times, which is why he invented the alarm clock, which then actually led to the origin of the development of the clock. Well, what I learnt was that time is finite and does not expand infinitely and is not of only one dimension as scientists claim. Thus, the past, present and future are not uniquely fixed, but are changeable in themselves through a wide variety of dimensions, which means that there are an infinite number of dimensions to the past and future, while the present has only the dimension of the moment. What I learned and could see on all the various time journeys with Sfath, the ancient Egyptians already had all kinds of methods to divide the day. Among other things, I could see that the day was divided according to the position of the sun, for which even large obelisks were used on which the movement of the sun was tracked, which I also saw, for example, with Sfath in the city of Tunis or Tanis, or whatever it was called. Also, when I was able to see the huge lighthouse in Alexandria, back in the past, Sfath said at the time that this tower was about 111 meters high. There was a stone structure next to it that also had a solar altimeter on it. During my travels with Sfath, I got to know that observations of the celestial bodies were already being made at that time, after which calculations were made that were probably based on distances, but which I did not understand, as I was also not interested in, because as Sfath told me, they were wrong anyway. It was also the case at that time that a scorpion was very important in an Egyptian kingdom. Why I do not know, it was about 3,000 years ago or so, if I remember correctly, because human beings spoke of it, as well as the position of the sun, as I could understand with Sfath's language device. Water clocks, I also know, were among the first timekeepers, the division of the day into 12 parts coming from that, which probably comes from the sundials of the ancient Egyptians, where the division of the day was done with the help of sunlight. I know that Egyptian astronomers also discovered over 30 stars, which then divided the sky into equal parts, Then somewhere, I do not remember where, but I remember that it was 5,000 or 6,000 years ago, I saw a kind of sundial made of clay or something, into which a wooden stick was stuck, which cast a shadow on the plate in which it was stuck.
Contact Report 833.
We created the concept of time.
Contact Report 837.
It has also been explained to me that in this world you have other terms for duration, namely that you divide it into terms of time and years and so on.